is one of the most common cyber attacks, referring to the practice of attempting to gain unauthorized access to a system or account by compromising passwords. There are several common password hacking techniques, and one of them is hybrid attacks. Hybrid attacks refer to the strategies that combine multiple methods or techniques to achieve a specific goal. They are usually employed with the combination of a dictionary attack and brute force attack to recover complex passwords quickly. In this method, the attacker will combine best dictionary words with a sequence of characters. These attackers target passwords by using common words or phrases and followed by the variation of characters. The combination of dictionary attack and brute force attack make the hybrid attack one of the harmful hacking techniques. Unlike other cyber attacks, which try every possible password combination, hybrid attack focus only on the most likely probable password pattern. For example, they exploit habits like using passwords that slightly modifying old ones, such as password 1 to password 2. This approach makes it faster and more efficient for the attacker to crack a password, allowing them to target many accounts at once that will increase the risk of data breach, identity theft, financial loss, and organizational risk. This attack would likely to get the password in a matter of hours or days. There are few real-life scenarios, such as the 2015 data breach at the U.S. Office of Personnel Management (OPM), which exposed personal data of 21 million current and former federal employees. This breach occurred due to the poor cybersecurity practices, including weak password policies. Therefore, to prevent hybrid attacks, there are several steps to take. First, use the strong unique password for each account to prevent the attackers from exploiting reused password. A password should be at least 12 to 16 characters long, including uppercase and lowercase letters, number, and special character. Other than that, implement the multi-factor authentication (MFA). MFA is a security measure that requires user to provide 2 or more verification factors to access an account, system, or application. This adds an extra layer of security for the account by sending the one-time code to the phone via SMS or email. Hence, it makes it significantly harder for the attacker to get unauthorized access even if the password was retrieved. Next, to prevent the hybrid attack from happening is by updating the password regularly. For important accounts, such as those with access to financial and personal data, such as online banking and email, the password needs to be changed for at least every 3 to 6 months. Meanwhile, for the less critical accounts that do not store the personal information, updating it for every 6 to 12 months is recommended. Hence, by making it a habit to change password regularly, the users enhance the security posture. Besides, the other way to prevent this from happening is by monitoring data breaches. It can be monitored regularly by using the breach detection tools. This is a way to detect if the user's personal data was breached so that it can allow the user to take an early step to prevent further damage. Finally, educating the user about cybersecurity is also a crucial part. This is an important step in preventing hybrid attacks because by giving knowledge to the user on topics like creating strong passwords, identifying phishing attempts, and using MFA will reduce the likelihood of a successful attack. In conclusion, password hacking, especially hybrid attacking, is one of the significant threats in today's digital world. To prevent this threat, it is crucial to implement a multi-layered security approach by using the strong unique password, monitoring data breaches, and educating users on best practice. By taking this proactive step, individuals and organizations can avoid important and sensitive data from being exposed to the world. Therefore, staying vigilant and informed is the best way to minimize the impact of attack and protecting our digital lives. First, the owner needs to have the MyIPO account and post DigiCert before registering the IP online. Then, browse the MyIPO website. This is the home page for MyIPO. Then, click on the menu button and go to the copyright section. Next, go to the notifying copyright that contain manual, form and fees, and flowchart. As a first-time user, it is important to read the manual book before applying the copyright. After reading the manual, go back to the notifying copyright in the copyright section and click for the form and fees. Here, it will be directed to this page that contains the CR1 form that need to be filled. And also, it stated the fee that need to be paid, which is Rm200. Next, fill in the form and submit the CR1 form and electronic copy of the work to the counter. After that, the document will be checked by the person in charge at the counter. After that, pay the stated fee, which is 200 ringgit. Finally, wait for the certificate to be sent to the applicant through the email if the copyright was successfully recorded in the registration. Surveillance is a process of monitoring, supervising, tracking, or tailing an individual, group of individuals, or an organization physically, mechanically, or technologically by government, special body, or corporate organization for security and protection. It is one of the specific ways to collect, store, organize, process, and analyze information in order to know if it is potential or real harm, checking violence, information manipulation, disciplinary power tilted towards societal security, safety, or peaceful coexistence. There are a few types of surveillance, which are physical surveillance, electronic surveillance, and digital surveillance. Physical surveillance is an act that observes an individual or groups directly to get their activities, behaviors, and interaction. This type of surveillance is often used by law enforcement agencies, private investigator, or personal security. However, if this physical surveillance was not conducted within legal framework, then it can breach an individual's privacy. The Royal Malaysian Police (PDRM) frequently deployed officers to conduct physical surveillance in an urban and high crime areas. They often wear surveillance clothing to monitor any suspicious activity in public spaces. In 2020, there is a physical surveillance conducted in Johor that involved drug trafficking. The officer followed the suspect for several weeks to collect evidence, which led to a major drug bust. Then, digital surveillance is used to monitor and collect information from digital platforms and devices. It is one of the ways for government, corporations, and individuals to track any activities. The government used digital surveillance as a national security to monitor the potential terrorist activity or cyber threat to ensure the public safety. These involve tracking online communication, detecting suspicious activities, and other security breaches. This surveillance was used by the Malaysian Communication and Multimedia Commissions (MCMC) in monitoring online content to prevent the spreading of false information, hate comments, or extremist material. During the COVID-19 pandemic, MCMC launched an initiative to monitor the spread of false information in WhatsApp and other social media platforms. Next, electronic surveillance that use devices such as camera and microphones to monitor an individual's activity. The most common electronic surveillance is the closed-circuit television (CCTV) that was used in public spaces and private properties for real-time monitoring and recording. In Kuala Lumpur, it was occupied with thousands of CCTV cameras as part of the Safe City initiative. These cameras were located to monitor crime-prone areas, public spaces, and traffic intersection. Nowadays, the government has improved the CCTV camera with a facial recognition capability to enhance public safety and crime detection. Can you monitor your employee computer activity? In an organization, it is possible for the employer to monitor their employees' computer activity. It is to ensure productivity, protect sensitivity data, and maintain compliance with organization policies. There are a lot of tools that can be used to track the employee's activity. These tools allow the employer to log in details such as application usage, website visit, time spent on specific work, and identify anomalies. For example, employers monitor the application and programs that the employees use during work hour. This helps them to know how much time spent and whether the employee is using unauthorized or non-work related software. However, monitoring employees' computer activity can raise some ethical concern. Hence, the company or organization needs to inform employees about the type of monitoring and purpose of monitoring. Failure to inform employees about the monitoring can lead to legal consequences. Government spy on its citizens. Government also often engage in surveillance of their citizens for national security, crime prevention, and maintaining public safety. This method is implemented for surveillance using the mass data collected, internet monitoring, and advanced technology. While these practices can help the government to detect threats, but this surveillance can raise concern on privacy and abuse of power. For example, in North Korea, the government monitored their citizens' phone call, text message, and internet activity extensively. The global internet can be used under restricted and tight control by the authorities. The authorities also implemented physical surveillance through the neighborhood informants. This behavior makes them remain loyal to the regime, and if they insist on doing it, they can be punished by the government. Next, as I mentioned before, surveillance is applied by the government or organization can raise an ethical issue. The main ethical issue for surveillance is the violation of privacy. When they observe the individual's activity through online or offline, they often do it without explicit consent. Hence, it can violate the individual privacy. Other than that, abuse of power also can be one of the ethical issues. Without a clear overview, the surveillance can be misused for political or social control and harassment, like in North Korea. There are a few steps that can be taken to prevent government surveillance. It's by using the encryption to the message through message applications such as WhatsApp. This can ensure the conversation remains private and is impossible to be accessed by the third party, including government. Another way to block surveillance is by using the virtual private network, VPN. A VPN routes internet traffic through secure servers that hide the IP address and encrypting online activity. Other than that, the surveillance can be minimized by limiting the data share, especially in social media. It is important to avoid sharing sensitive information publicly and make sure to turn off the location services and other tracking features on apps and devices. Hence, by following these steps, individuals can significantly minimize the exposure of surveillance, whether by the government or others. In conclusion, surveillance plays a crucial role in ensuring security and public safety, even if it's also raise significant ethical concern. Therefore, it is important to balance the benefit of surveillance with protecting individual rights essentially. The importance of reliability in computer systems. In the modern world, computers as well as the software that runs in them are playing a vital role in our daily life. Computer and software reliability can be defined as a probability of failure during software or computer operation for a specified period in a specific environment. The computer needs to be reliable to ensure the effectiveness, safety, and uninterrupted operation of various systems. The importance of computer reliability is extremely important in a high-risk area such as air traffic control, military system, and space exploration. Failure in these environments may lead to severe consequences such as death, environmental damage, and financial loss. The example of computer not reliable. There was an incident happened during the Gulf War in 1991 that had been caused the death of 28 US soldiers and over 100 of them injured. This happened due to the system failure. This accident occurred when the Patriot missile defense system failed to interrupt a Scud missile that struck the US Army barrack in Dhahran, Saudi Arabia. The failure was directly linked to the software defect in the missile system weapon control system. The main issue was a flaw in the system's time tracking algorithm. The Patriot system used a method to track time that could not accurately handle fractions, causing a small error to build up over the time. After the system ran for about 100 hours, the error miscalculated the location of the Scud missile. As a result, the radar data pointed out missile tracking algorithm to the wrong location, leaving the Scud undetected. The problem worsened because of the software had been quickly updated to target faster Scud missiles instead of the slow aircraft which was originally designed. Although improvement was done during the war, the updated software had not reached the system in Dhahran. Hence, the combination of inadequate system design, insufficient testing, and delay fixing highlight the critical importance of truly checking and updating systems to ensure safety. The loss in Dhahran demonstrate how even a small software error can lead to catastrophic failures. Comparing the Nokia and BlackBerry era with the iPhone and Android era, there are huge differences between them that can be discussed in terms of the hardware and software reliability. There are a few points that can be discussed regarding the hardware reliability of Nokia and BlackBerry, which are its durability, battery life, and component. Nokia and BlackBerry are often said to be indestructible phones because it was built to be extremely sturdy. This is due to the sturdy plastic body that were used with no luxury design in them that can endure the extreme temperature, high drops, and general harm. The battery lifespan and technology for Nokia, BlackBerry were much simpler than smartphones nowadays. The phone had a small screen with a less powerful processor, which made the battery have a simpler task. Therefore, it made the battery lifespan last for several days in a single charge. The number of components used in the older phone was more basic compared to the smartphones. Thus, there were few things that could go wrong and decrease the chances of hardware failure. Meanwhile, for iPhone and Android, it was more advanced with a powerful processor, large screen, multiple camera, and countless sensors. This complexity leads to fragility and vulnerability to the phone upon an impact. For example, this phone easily to be cracked and bent because they were thin and made up of glass screens. Then the battery lifespan do not last long due to the high definition of large screen, powerful processor, and constant connectivity such as Wi-Fi and mobile data. The average smartphone battery only could last within a day, with a minimum usage and required recharging twice or more when it is heavily used. As smartphone contain a lot of components, there will be more things that could go wrong and make it harder to repair due to the tightly packed internal component. Next, software reliability for Nokia and BlackBerry only use the simple operating system that can be handle simple tasks such as calling and messaging. These give more stability and reliability compared to smartphones. Since the older phones do not run a complex application and services, this reduces the possibility of conflicts such as fewer the possibility of getting software bugs or system crash. While the iPhone and Android have a modern operating system that can handle a wide range of tasks such as running multiple applications at the same time. The increased complexity can bring software bugs that can slow down the function of the phone and cause the application to misbehave. Nowadays, smartphones frequently receive software updates and constantly download new applications that can also slow down the performance of the smartphones. Hence, while mobile smartphones provide advanced features and innovative technology, they are less reliable compared to older phones. The older phone focuses on basic communication with sturdy hardware and simple software, making it more dependable. Nowadays, smartphones often face problems like software issues, fragile design, and short battery life. However, these drawbacks are balanced by the wide range of features and capabilities that they offer. During the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, the government had invented an application named MySejahtera to assist in managing the COVID-19 in Malaysia. The software engineers that developed the application need to be fulfilled the 8 principles of the professional code of ethics such as public, client and employer, product and judgment. The main responsibility for the software engineer under the public principle is to prioritize the safety, health and welfare of the public. The software engineer must design the application that can effectively support the public healthcare in tracking the number of cases of COVID-19, enabling vaccination registration, and tracing the affected patient. The engineer must consider implementing the encryption and make sure the confidential data such as health status and personal data remain private to prevent misuse or leak, and the app should be designed to be user-friendly and accessible to the people at all ages. Other than that, it also needs to be transparent to the user by clearly informing the user how the data will be used, stored and shared. This can build trust with the user and encourage them to use the app. In another aspect, which is the client and employer principle, the engineer that developed the app should act with integrity and honesty toward the client, which is the Malaysian government. The engineer should satisfy the client need, which is to facilitate contact tracing, vaccination registration, and health monitoring during the COVID-19 pandemic. The engineer must ensure the app was fully functioned by applying real-time and accurate updates to the user while safeguarding data security and user privacy. Other than that, transparent communication with the government was vital, such as informing about the potential risks for the data breach might arise during the app's operation. Hence, the engineer should advise the client to provide another layer of security measure to prevent negative things from happening. Finally, the engineer should advise the client on maintaining and updating the app to adapt to evolving threats and requirements, recommending regular updates, ensure the app to be more secure over the time. Thus, by adhering to this principle, the development team not only fulfill the government request but also ensure that the app could serve its purpose effectively and ethically. Next, the developer of MySejahtera apps should be responsible for the product principle, which is to make sure that the app has high quality, safe and secure to be used. the assigned engineer needs to conduct the quality assurance test to identify and fix bugs to confirm that the app runs smoothly under a high-demand condition. The ethical responsibility also involves in anticipating and addressing the potential misuse of the app. The engineer should also design the app that can withstand a new requirement, such as integrating features for the post-pandemic. Failure to uphold this standard could lead to system crashes, data breaches, and loss of public trust. Finally, the principle of judgment in a software engineer's profession ethics means that they need to make decisions based on honesty, knowledge, and careful consideration of the fact. These include avoiding decisions that can harm the user, client, and public. For example, engineers working on MessageAdra app find that rushing to release the app could lead to security vulnerability. They must speak up and advocate for delaying the launch to address the issue. The engineer also should be updated with the latest technologies so that they can ensure the app's design protects user privacy by incorporating strong encryption methods. Hence, implementing judgment means prioritizing ethical and responsible choices to ensure the safety, reliability, and trustworthiness of the app. So that's all from me. Thank you.